Women's Power to Heal Mother Earth. I am Maya Dewari. Today is the 5-5 portal, and I'm being pulled forward into the stupendous force of love. From the depth of my ancient soul, I pray that these words are not pretty or petty issuance of thoughts and emotions broadcasting random gibberish. Now that I feel my loyal heart throbbing quietly again, while the glow of my belly emulating the fullness of galactic joy and pleasure, I have always felt a strong, unearthly pull to love, to serve. And while I have loved and I have served, I have also judged, criticized, and controlled when my own shadows unwittingly stepped in and drew back the measure of grace, abridging the wide open heart of truth into data that got recast or tainted. For most of my 40 years of service in the field of health and spirituality, I have experienced great strides and great reverses, much like doing a perennial version of the cha-cha dance. Minaya of the Pleiadian Syrian Collective frames it this way, and I quote, "This is the roller coaster running. This is the matrix renewing its grip on you, and it has been running for so long that most souls believe it is simply the nature of being alive. But it is the nature of being plugged in." In a driven life space, I have made some critical mistakes in my life from the purview of otherness, expectations, and outcomes. Although I have always had a sense of a vast reservoir of love within my ancient soul, yet I clung to ideology of love as though it might one day slip away. The price I have paid for this freedom is unimaginable. And while it took me 15 years in the abyss to understand the tsunami that I had created in my life, my journey now is not to rehash the weary baggage of my past, but to speak my truth and have it be witnessed by a divine covenant of love that flows through each and every original human being. The test I endured while physically, psychically, and spiritually crushing through a relentless series of torturous attacks, the more I resisted, the greater the battering. The key words here are resisted, lockdown mode. But a dim light kept flickering, brightly sometimes. Faith, trust in the divine fluctuated, but it was ever present. Through its anti-gravitational force, I was once more able to rise and get back up after a brief rest from the knockout punches. In the last 3 years, the sense of separation had become so wide that I felt a deep vertigo pull into the abyss, where I subsisted for 3 long years. Then everything changed. A vibrant signal felt in the depth of my belly. In October 2025, astronomical physicists were analyzing Three-Eyed Atlas appearance in the vast skies. A sense of relief, along with the light that had begun to permeate my being, came suddenly. In January 2026, I began reading on social media the transmissions about the Galactic Federation of Light. I felt elated. I knew it was a mothership from beyond the beyond of timelines. I started the podcast about my intuitive sense of relief. A merciful rescue mission for Earth had begun, a stupendous mythical lore breathing into vibrant life. Wow. Inspired, I jumped out of the abyss onto the event horizon. I was pulled to stay there, to be an inner witness of galactic grandeur, gliding in the endless motherships on their way through the portal of suns and stars to rescue Mother Earth from the deep, archonic depravity that had been leeching love and consciousness from humanity. For the first time in my life, I felt a profound sense of safety and ease, not necessarily being rescued, but somehow some incredible force had come to get me out of my deep grief. Still weakened by years of non-comprehension of my battering reality, I started to receive, they were more like transmissions, I would say, but clarity via the energy of these exquisite light beings who had already begun transforming Earth's grid 3 years earlier. Through their living transmission, I realized that all those torturous years, I was being refined by and for a purpose. I was being forged by the fire, recalibrated at every turn with infinite and surgical precision by the divine will. I was directed, redirected, tossed hither, thither like a sheaf of wheat in the wind. But it was the divine creator who is meticulously refining me from the state of amnesia. And this is what is happening to all of us throughout Earth today. But it is wonderful because I was encouraged by a very dear friend to write out the story of taking responsibility for my own actions in those years that I have called torturous. So while being redirected by the divine creator who is meticulously refining me from the state of amnesia I'd fallen into, barely surviving while responding to the density of my own emotions, bitterness, resentment, the malady of separation from source, the forging vessel that was mercilessly recalibrating me from the false reality of otherness back to the source of oneness. My deepest gratitude to the divine, to Mother Mahindra, to the Universal Mother, who's always been there in my time of need. I had brought into the three-dimensional illusion, we all did actually, and ferried our expectations, or at least my expectations, through those dense, foggy lens of the veil. However, finally, after thousands of years on Earth under low-density dissonance, I am free. We are all given the sublime, unpredicted opportunity to transcend our inner states of awareness to the universal, untethered codes of consciousness, and I am taking back my full sovereignty now. This is my most sacred sankalpa, or intention. I have awoken. I'm in the threshold. I take full responsibility for my ignorance, which had prolonged my suffering. In recognizing these lessons as sacred gifts of the Creator and the players as staged by the Creator, I became progressively entrenched in creating a chasm between me and them. I had been feeding the very thing I wanted to dissipate and dissolve, the voracious appetite of otherness. My resistance and refusal to glean the lean truth created a monster, really. A monster whose sentiency was created and nourished by my fears, by blaming and shaming, and from the resentment and rage and bitterness that I felt through that experience. Today, on the holy day, I declare my absolute freedom, Tatastu. I forgive myself for what I could not have known then, Tatastu. Today, on this holy day, I forgive and release everyone who was and is involved in these lessons, Tatastu. Today, on this holy day, I thank each and everyone who has played a dark role that contributed to the awakening of my light, Tatastu. Today, on this holy day, I release my entire past with light, gratitude, and blessings, Tatastu. May the extensive divine love fueled by Prime Creator that I now feel penetrating my soul and reflecting into the heart of each and every one of us who has played a role in our own evolution, Tatastu. My ancestors and divine guides bear witness to my assuming full responsibility for my exhaustive charter of experiences in this present life, Tatastu. May ancestors and divine guides bear witness to my irretrievably cutting the cords and threads and canceling all past soul contracts that have outlived their purpose in my life and their connection to me. May they be cut. May they dissolve. With love and blessings, Tatastu. My deepest gratitude and love to Archangel Michael, whom has been a palpable presence in the past 15 years in my life, Tatastu. My gratitude and love to the Commander, Lord Ashtar, of the Galactic Federation Light, and the Arturians and Syrians, and the Andromedians, and all the light allies who are doing the stupendous, infinite work of securing Earth's grids, portals, infrastructure from dissonant demonic mimic architecture, which had been corrupting humanity's awareness and sentiency for many eons. My deepest gratitude to the Divine Mother and my loyalty to her. Thank you for listening, and peace be your journey.